Hello and welcome to Middle-Aged Geek Girl. I'm Sally. Today I am doing a whip and chat on the Diamond Art Club painting Angelique. This is slightly different whip and chat as I have recorded doing the actual day's square work and I have to record a voiceover to put over the actual footage as I did start doing it talking at the same time. However, things got really noisy outside with gardening happening and other street noises, so I just scrapped the talking part and have just kept the footage of me working, and instead I'm doing the voiceover. So it's a slightly different whip and chat, but a whip and chat regardless. So in this whip and chat later on, I have a special guest reader reading Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, and you've probably guessed the special guest reader is Terry, my husband, who also has a YouTube channel called Terry Talks Movies. So if you like movies, older movies, genre movies, definitely recommend you go over to his channel and check it out. He is really, really knowledgeable on this stuff and he's very entertaining as well. I will leave a link to his channel down below in the description, and I will say a huge thank you to Terry for helping me by volunteering to read The Raven. I was going to do it, but I am not a confident reader at all. Out loud, I mean I can read, but out loud, and even though I know I could edit and do several takes if I need to, I'd rather not put myself through the stress, and it's nice to also have a guest reader on the channel for Spooktober. The footage you are watching of me completing day 13's square of the diamond painting has been sped up slightly. Yeah, I sped it up slightly just so the video is a watchable length and not hours long, and it's still quite easy to follow through. So as I said, the canvas is Angelique by Nikki Burnette, and it is a Diamond Art Club canvas. I bought it late last year, back when Diamond Art Club were doing free shipping to Australia if you spend a certain amount of money. This particular kit cost me at the time $56.11 Australian. And I must say it was totally worth that money. I am really enjoying working on the kit. There's, minimal trash. The diamonds are very sparkly. I mean, it's really easy to read the canvas. It is a really good looking kit. The sad part is with the shipping issues going on at the moment for world shipping, I won't be buying any more Diamond Art Club in the near future. I do have another 5 I purchased when it was all free shipping, so it was affordable to get them. And now it's roughly about $90 Australian to post one kit. So you're paying more for the postage than you are for the actual kit. Plus there is the weird situation where shipping from the US is being occasionally stopped to Australia because they can't get the planes or the cargo space. So I know a few of my friends are going through that at the moment. They've purchased things from America and they're just not getting them because they've had to cancel all the orders because America just is not shipping to Australia. So there's so many reasons, unfortunately, I just can't buy anything from any American company anymore. Hopefully after the world situation settles down a bit more in the next coming years, who knows what will happen. And I totally don't blame Diamond Art Club for the postage issue. That is just a postage issue. It's all around the world. Moving on from there, I think now's a great time to have the reading from Terry of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. Enjoy.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping on my chamber door, and only this, and nothing more. Distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow for the lost Lenore. before the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with a fantastic terror never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," I said, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more." Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the darkness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was a whispered word, "Lenore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door. Perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure not craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpture bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther he uttered, not a feather then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his song one burden bore, till the dirge of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore. But the raven, still beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking that this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore. Tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked up starting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.
That was awesome. Thank you very much, Terry, again for doing that for me. It means a lot and I truly appreciate it. You're fantastic. I love you heaps and I owe you one. But enough of that gooey love stuff. This is meant to be Spooktober and we don't do lovey-dove stuff. So let's move on quickly. I watch some colouring YouTube channels and there's a hashtag going around in the colouring community at the moment called coloringscaretag. So I thought I would finish off this whip and chat with answering some spooky related questions. Question 1. If you were paid to spend the night in a haunted house, would you, and how much would they have to pay you? Well, this one's easy for me to answer, and the answer is absolutely I would. And for the amount of money, expenses plus whatever an acceptable wage per hour is to spend time there. I wouldn't set like a ridiculous amount like $50,000 or whatever. I would love to do it. I have mentioned on the channel once upon a time that I did want to either be a parapsychologist or a cryptozoologist when I was younger. So spending the night in a haunted house would be fantastic. I'd be scared. I'm not going to pretend I wouldn't be, but I still reckon it would be an awesome, and I wouldn't do it alone. That's the other thing. I'd need a team of professionals with me, with all of the professional equipment like your EMF readers and your DOTS projectors, your thermometers, stuff like that. I'd love to do it. So that's an easy one for me. That's a big fat yes. Question 2. What superstition, urban legend do you believe? Now this one was interesting. Urban legend do I believe? Well, the urban legend of someone being in the back of your car and you not knowing, I believe. I honestly, because that can happen and it probably has happened somewhere in real life if we dig deep enough. So I definitely believe that. Superstitions, don't really believe them, but I do have parents that believe in some superstitions, like we were never allowed to put new shoes on the table or have an open umbrella in the house. But I do not follow any of that stuff. Now I am all grown up and independent. I have a black cat, so that pretty much explains that one. Question 3. Which horror movie did you never get over? Well, there's 2. Number 1 is The Exorcist. I watched that when I was in my late 20s. I waited that long. I mean, it came out, I think, before I was born or just as I was born. I think it might have even came out the year I was born, if it's 73. I'll put a correct link here for what year it was. But I didn't watch it till I was well in my 20s. And I've never got over it. I mean, I know you can we all laugh at the pea soup scene and stuff like that. But my God, no, once is enough. We'll never watch that again. And there's another movie which I haven't even watched, and it probably goes back into question 2 about superstition and urban legends. It's Poltergeist, the original. I will not watch the original Poltergeist. I know there's a lot of death around it, and I know that there were things happened on set, and it's probably a very big urban legend around everything that happened on Poltergeist, but yeah, I don't want to risk it and I won't watch it. I think we have a copy in the house because, as we know, I'm married to a movie buff. But God, no. No. So that's that one. Question 4. What's the scariest book you've ever read? Now, this one I was not going to put in, but I kept it in, and it might upset some people. But to me, honestly, it's the Bible. Now, I am an atheist. Have always been an atheist. Well, when I understood what atheism was, I don't come from a religious family. But my dad always told me that before you disagree with something and not want to be part of it, i.e. religion, at least read the book first and understand what it is you don't like about it or don't want to be part of. So I read the Bible. I've read the Bible in chunks. I haven't read the whole Bible. I cannot read the whole Bible. It's too much for me. That is my answer. That is my genuine, honest answer. That is the book that is the scariest book I've ever read. Now, I read Stephen King. I've read Stephen King since I was a preteen, and yet none of those books are scary, so let's just leave it at that. Question 5. If you could be a scary monster, what would you be? Well, honestly, me. It's like, because there's a further down question about monsters again, about what you'd want to be out of a choice of monsters. So for this answer, I'm sticking with me, but me when I'm really pissed off or when I have my PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. You can Google that if you need to and look it up. It is actually a lot worse than PMS, and it turns you into a bit of a homicidal maniac. Well, it does me. It's an extremely bad condition. So if I was going to be a monster, for monster's sake, it would be definitely me with PMDD and really pissed off on top of that. Question 6. Where is the scariest place you've ever been? That's easy. That was London's East End, where Jack the Ripper prowled century and a half ago, not quite a half, nearly a century and a half ago. Terry and I went to the UK in 2004, and I was so desperate because I love reading up on serial killers and have again since preteen. I'm a bit strange like that. So I really wanted to see London's East End, as you can imagine. And so we caught the bus and we got off the bus. I stayed for 15 minutes and went, I hate the vibe. I don't want to be here anymore. Let's go. So we didn't look at actually any Jack the Ripper sites. We just got on a bus and left. Went somewhere else. So I don't know why. It was broad daylight too. It wasn't even nighttime. It was on a weekend. There were people everywhere doing their usual stuff. I just got a vibe. And I know people will think that's bullshit, what have you, but I just got a really icky vibe and I just wanted to leave. And so we left. So I didn't really see any Jack the Ripper stuff. It was just all too much for me. Question 7. Are you scared of the dark? And if so, what scares you the most about the dark? No. Often when I am depressed or anxious, there is nothing better for me than to sit in a dark room. I love sitting in a dark room. But on the flip side of that, are you scared of the dark? Yeah, I would be scared of the dark if I was in a cave, a caving system, or the middle of a forest or something like that. Then yeah, I would be scared of the dark. But if I'm in a familiar surrounding like home, no, I'm not scared of the dark. I often walk around the house in the dark. So it's not a problem there. Question 8. Do you go to the toilet with the lights on or off after a scary movie? I go to the toilet with the lights on all the time, regardless if I've watched a scary movie or not. I live in Australia. Things like to hide in toilets or under toilet seats and kill you. So you really want to be able to see what you're doing in the toilets in Australia. Question 9. If you have a closet, would you need to have the door fully closed to sleep? Yes. I have to have our wardrobe doors shut and also our ensuite door shut. Used to have the bedroom door shut as well, but since Jack passed away and we got Luna, we've been keeping the bedroom door open, and I sleep closest to the bedroom door, so that can be a bit icky sometimes. But I really hate the closet door being open because I will see faces in the closet. Question 10. Do you want to be a vampire, zombie or werewolf, and why? Vampire. It's been a vampire again since my preteens. I introduced myself, it was year 7 in high school. So the first year of high school we had to introduce ourselves to our home group about what we wanted to be one day, and I said a vampire. So I've always been the weird kid that nobody really wanted to be friends with because she's a bit weird. So yeah, it's a vampire all the way. Why? I just love the whole legend of vampires and the nasty legend. We're not talking about Twilight crap. Do not bring that into my house. That doesn't even exist to me in vampire lore. It's disgusting. So I'm a traditionalist. I like my well, it's probably not even tradition, but I like my vampires like Bela Lugosi and Christopher Lee. They're the type of vampires. So yeah, I'm from that school of vampires, and that's why I loved it. To me, it was a whole romance thing. I know you are undead and sadly could never eat garlic again, and you can only come out at night, etc., and you have to drink blood. But I still think a vampire is sexy and suave, and it will always be a vampire for me. Number 11. Would you participate in the zombie run, which is like a fun run? If so, would you be a zombie or a runner? We do have them in Melbourne. We do have zombie runs. I have never attended. They do look awesome. I just would be a big scaredy cat, and I'm not fit, so I wouldn't be able to be a runner, and I'm not very good at makeup, so I don't think I'd be able to do the zombie side of things either. But I do have friends that have participated in it, absolutely loved it, had an absolutely glorious time. And I've also had a friend that starred in an Australian movie, which again I'm going to have to pop the name up here during editing because I can't remember it, but she got to dress up as a zombie and be in the movie in the background as a zombie. But so it sounds like fun, it looks like fun, but yeah, it's a large crowd event more than the fact it's zombies, and I don't do well in large crowds, but they do absolutely look great, and everyone I've seen participate looks like they're having the best time. Question 12. Do you prefer gory, creepy, or cute and spooky? I'm not sure if the gory, creepy is meant to be together because they're two very, very, very different things. Gory are your stuff like Nightmare on Elm Street, your slashers, basically, Saw, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, things like that. Where creepy is stuff like Psycho. And I like creepy. I can watch creepy TV and movie all day and you get scared, but it's enjoyable. I will not watch gory TV or movies. It's disgusting. And cute and spooky I'll watch in TV and movies as well. I don't like gore. Yet, with the disclaimer, I do like gore if it's on console games, if it's in colouring books, if it's on diamond paintings, if it's on any craft activity I love, and if it's in a book. So I can read an extremely visceral book, I can play an extremely visceral console game, colour in the picture with guts and stuff hanging out of it, but I just cannot watch a movie with it in. I am full of these weird contradictions. I don't understand it, but I just can't do it. Like, I have recently watched Creepshow on Shudder and loved it because it's so corny. It's easy to watch. It's not like just gore for the sake of gore, which is why I really hate the sort of slasher genre. It's not for me at all. Question 13. What scares you most about being home alone? Nothing. I like being home alone. It's peaceful. I can do my own thing. Don't have to answer to anybody or worry about what anybody else is doing. I guess what scares me most about being home alone is knowing that someone will return and I won't be alone anymore. And that's no offense to Terry, because I love him deeply, but things change when he gets home. You know, it gets messier, it gets noisier. And yeah, not much respect to you, T, but you know you're messy. And the last question, who would you rather have as a friend? Michael Myers, Pennywise, Alien, Predator, or Freddy Krueger, and why? Not Pennywise, can't stand clowns. Michael Myers wouldn't be a good conversationalist. Freddy Krueger, no thanks. Ooh, Alien or Predator? I'd have to say Predator. If Predator and I were tight, if we were buds, I reckon he'd be much fun to go out with. You could play pranks with his invisibility cloaking suit thing. He's a big, strong, burly guy. He could carry you around. You'd get through crowds easy. And I think he would be a bit more of a conversationalist than the others. You could probably try and communicate with him somehow. And he'd have a cute dog you can also play with. So yeah, it'd have to be Predator. Yeah, the others, no. So that's the questions. I'd love to hear your answers to any of the questions or all of the questions, however you'd like to do it, down below in the comments. I think that'd be awesome. Again, I got this from hashtag coloringscaretag, which is doing its rounds in the colouring community on YouTube. So if you search for that hashtag, you should be able to find other people's videos and answers, the full list of questions from the colouring community. So guys in the colouring community, I hope you don't mind. I borrowed some of the questions because they're awesome questions and they're just fun to answer. So that should do it for this Whip and Chat. I hope you have enjoyed it. You can let me know down below by hitting that like button and leaving a comment. Also, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. That would be really awesome. And if everybody could hit that notification bell so you are up to date when I have uploaded a new video. Until the next video, please stay safe, stay weird, stay spooky, and I'll catch you in the next one. Blah, blah. Bye.